And he was there, signing autographs, and when he was a cute little 12-year-old, and he's 40 now. And we were kind of hanging out, became buddies, and hitting the jacuzzi, at night and everything. And he's like, man, how come you don't look your age? What's up, man? How come I look my age, and I'm 10 years younger than you, and you look, you don't look your age? And I said, I don't know. And he goes, well, did you ever do drugs? He's like, no. And he goes, did you drink? I'm like, no. You smoke? No. Well, there it is. No wonder I don't look. So children, young people, if you want to take care of yourselves and you want to feel good and look good when you're old like me, make sure you don't abuse substances. Don't do it anyway, but I think at least that's what Atreyu says. So, yes, my dear. I just fell in love with you for saying Star Trek. You guys, can I nerd out for a second? As much as you guys enjoy anime, video games, and stuff like that, my passion when I was a little boy was the original series of Star Trek. There is nobody trust me, who learned anymore, memorized anymore, fanned out, nerded out, spent more time obsessing over Star Trek than I did when I was a little boy. In fact, I even now have Star Trek trivia contests at conventions where I get the fans to try to ask me questions and stump me with questions from the original series, and they can't do it for the most part because I memorized the show. You understand? I mean, I'm not exaggerating. I memorized the episodes like word for word when I was a little boy. I loved it so much. Well, long story short, I've partnered together with 3 other guys, and we have started a new web series that will be premiering. Actually, we're going to be premiering the first vignette with a little dramatic vignette, like a little teaser, in less than a month at Shore Leave, which is a big Star Trek convention in Baltimore. I'm going to be there, and another one of the cast members is going to be there. But let me just tell you guys, be watching out for it. It's called Star Trek Continues. It's easy enough, right? StarTrekContinues.com. Star Trek Continues. And we have a 10,000 square foot facility in Georgia that we are currently rebuilding the entire soundstage from the original series of Star Trek. We're talking like the bridge, the big long bending corridor, briefing room, sick bay, transporter room, captain's quarters, everything. And I am going to get to fulfill a childhood dream of playing Captain Kirk. I cannot wait, I'm so excited. So, I hope you'll watch it. And don't worry, I'm not gonna do Captain Kirk. I won't do it like that. But I've got, and here's the cool thing. There are some other fan series out there, but they're all amateurs. None of them are like professionals. And my entire cast are made up of actors. So we're gonna have like really good dramatic stories. A couple of voice actors playing Kirk and playing Spock and McCoy. And they're actors first. But you would know them as voice actors. And here's 2 little fun tidbits for you. You can tell your parents if they're Star Trek fans. Does anyone here know who played Scotty in the original series of Star Trek?
We're too young.
No, you're not. James Doohan was his name. Guess who's playing Scotty in my series? Chris Doohan, his son. How freaking cool is it that the son, who literally used to be on set with his dad when he was 9 years old, he and his brother would go to the original sets. His dad would take him to work when he, didn't have any place to put his kids. He would bring him to work. And so he's playing his father's role. How many of you watch Mythbusters? Guys, I love Mythbusters. Well, Grant Imahara from Mythbusters is playing Sulu. Awesome. So we've got a great cast of people. Keep your eyes open for Star Trek Continues, okay? Yes? Oh, yes. Can you see my pants? That's weird, isn't it? Well, here, I'll walk over here. Who's got a question? While she's looking at my pants. She's checking out my pants. Yes. Was there ever a character I auditioned for? All the time. Was there ever a character I auditioned for that I was afraid I wasn't going to get the part? Yeah, there have been a lot of characters that I auditioned for that I wanted to get it and I didn't. Or I hoped I wouldn't get it and I did. Or there have been some that I just didn't even audition for because I didn't even want to be considered because a little bit too for me. But yeah, you know what? With every actor, anybody will tell you that the vast majority of things that you audition for, you don't get. That's just the sad truth of it. There's a voice actor who once said in a panel that when he goes into an audition, he tries to read for every single role, even if he's not right for it. He'll read for everything. Because, as he puts it, if you throw enough spaghetti against the wall, some of it's going to stick. You know what I mean? Like if you audition for 10 things, you got a better chance of getting picked for one of them than if you go in and audition for one or two things. So, there are always those characters. In fact, there are characters that I would have loved to have played. But you know, I have to, as an actor especially, you guys will learn this, is if you're interested in acting, the more that you try out for things, you have to let go of those things. You can't hang on to it too much because it'll really kind of drive you crazy. You know, you do your best, you give it your best shot, and then, you know, I'll tell you a funny story, speaking of best shot. I went in last week to audition for this new show, and I had just come home from a convention, and my voice was shot. It didn't sound like me, and I didn't have as much flexibility and control of my voice as I normally do, and I knew it. And I got in there, and I tried my best, and I did not feel good about the audition. So I left, and literally an hour later, I called the studio and I said, "Can you send me the audition sides, the little audition lines, and can I record them again and just send them to you? Like I'll record them at my home, and then I'll send them to you. Because I want, you want to put your best effort forward." And I knew that what I'd done in the studio was not my best. And so the next day, when I felt a little bit better, my voice felt a little better, I recorded them all again and sent them in. So, you just do your best and then you just kind of let it go. That's what you have to do. Because as most actors, professional actors will tell you, like 90% of acting is learning to deal with rejection. And you know what's funny? I just thought about this. People that get into acting and performing are by nature often insecure. Right? I mean, think about it. They want so desperately some kind of validation. They want to stand up in front of people and perform and have people go, "Yeah, that's amazing, yay," or laugh at a comedy that they're in, or something funny they say, or cry when they're doing something, deep and emotional and sad. So it's interesting that actors, people who gravitate toward acting, especially who end up being professionals because they've been doing it so long and this is what they want to do, it's so funny that they would gravitate toward a profession that would, how do I put it, that would deal such heavy blows toward their ego when they're already insecure by nature. You know what I mean by that? It would be like if you know you can't swing a bat, and they force you to hit in the cleanup hitter position, like the big one where everyone expects you to, you know what I mean? It's like you're already kind of insecure, and then you go and audition for things, and you don't get cast. You get rejected. Isn't that interesting? That you would gravitate toward a field that would actually play on your weaknesses and your own fears. And as an actor, you have to just learn to let that kind of stuff go, because you're not going to get cast most of the time. Yes, sweetheart?
Can I have a hug?
You can always have a hug. Everybody gets hugs. Didn't you know that? The sound guy's getting a hug later. I swear. We're all going to go to Genghis and hug the waiters and the waitresses. Come here. Run up here and give me a hug. Can you glomp? hit me. Come on. Oh. Thank you. Yes. When I first heard that there was going to be more Full Metal and that we were going to be doing it, what was my first reaction? This was my first reaction. Oh no. Because the first series was so awesome. And I really was a little bit scared. I was a little bit nervous because, you know, what are the chances that you can recreate something that was as good as the original? It doesn't happen very often. I mean, you guys know a lot about movie sequels. That's all you have to say. You know, they make another movie because they make a sequel because the first one made them a lot of money and the second one's horrible. You know what I mean? Sometimes the first one's horrible, but then they make a third one, which is even worse. You know what I mean? And so when I first heard that they were making more Full Metal, I was like, oh no! I mean, what if it's not as good? And I don't mean me, I mean everything. What if the story's not as good? What if the music's not as good? What if the voice actors don't do as good a job? What if the writers don't write as good a script?